Holy old fuck, boys. This might be the coolest thing I think it is the coolest thing we've ever made. So, link down in the doobly-doo if you want one. It'll only cost you about an arm and a dick, but it'll last you forever. And we made it. Just you feel the good juju coming out of it. Gentlemen, it is with great gleeful joy that I announce to you that the knives that we made are ready. And I say we because this was definitely a group effort. Make cool shit, put it on Tinternets. Well, this one, it wouldn't have got off the ground without fellas helping me out. Cash-wise, costs a lot of money to get a bunch of these batched up, especially with that fancy titanium in there. Now, these Olfa knives, of course, you've seen these around. They're everywheres. 25 millimeter by 7 millimeter, skookum as frig, but uglier than a stump fence. Also flammable. Made of plastique, the thing breaks and so forth. They're fantastic. But in the spirit of J.A. Pan, wabi sabi, nothing is ever perfect, nothing is finished, and nothing lasts forever. Except for this. This here's what you're gonna get. It only costs you an arm and a dick. However, UV Imperious oil, rags, heat, nothing. It's just gonna keep getting better with age because it'll have a nicer patina. Continue to get softer edges, more beloved, until it grows its own little soul. Huh? Yeah. Monkey do like shiny. On account of it being a kit, comes flat pack, we got options. We can go raw dog right off the laser cutter, but you see slight kerf there. So what we're going to do is we're going to just knock off the edges. Yeah, you see that right there. We're going to get some sandpaper available at, just like the blades. They're available at any hardware store. Ubiquitous, you might say. And we're going to knock off the edges. Oh, who amongst us doesn't remember the day after Christmas getting a brand new Spitfire model kit, melting plastic and sniffing glue, only to be yelled at by your mother for leaving a globby mess everywhere? It's the same. Only this time it's even better. There's no rotten middle sister gonna mistakenly stomp on it into a million pieces and then me mistakenly kicking her right in the stomach. Far less familial drama here in the Empire of Dirt. Fucking rotten. Good times. Good times. This is pretty neat. Not pretty. It's titanium. This can be anodized. That is, you put a little layer of oxide on it. There's two ways to do that. You can flame anodize it. So you get her up to red hot and she'll turn blue on you. Or you can put a couple of 9-volt batteries, well, probably 5 9-volt batteries back to back. You stick them like Lego. And you stick these in a bath and you can get this beautiful blue patina or purple or whatever you want. All kinds of options. For me, I'm going to do the expeditious route and flame it. And then if you don't like the finish, all you need to do is sand it off. Do it again. It's just the difference in color is just the thickness of the oxide layer. This is the kind of thing what your son will be able to take to his wedding as an heirloom. Wear it in his garter belt. Because it will last forever. If you want a nice blue, you just get the thing red hot. But you want to be cognizant. You don't want this to, well, I guess it doesn't really matter if it bends because it'll get clamped together. Okay, nice little pattern there. We're going to let that chill out a bit. There is nothing like this on the whole planet. Smalley, made in the USA, wave spring. Got some fasteners. They are Phillips, because this size of fastener is hard to find in Torx. So also the heads aren't clocked because they're done in a machine, a rolling thread machine. The heads aren't clocked to the threads. So if we need to have the heads clocked to the threads, we need to make our own fasteners a la John Grismo. That's why he's got $1 million machine making tiny little screws, because you gotta, if you want to clock the heads. However, we can kind of fudge it because we can over torque, or you can get them clocked. So here's the plungers for the selector. Here's the plungers for the blade change release. You'll notice they're quite small, but they are bigger than the prototype. And I gave you extra fasteners because they're tiny and prone to getting lost. As well, that's the little things. Giving you an extra plunger too, because shit happens. As a testament to dudes making shit, this doesn't come from a factory, and there's a artifact of the laser cutting. You see how there's so much wasted material here. There is a reason for that. But I got to find out what it is, because that little sliver of wasted titanium is quite expensive. I made a mistake. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. You got to trim the nubs before you anodize them, because now I have to go ahead and clean up these nubs, and I'm going to sand off my beautiful anodizing. And the reason the nubs are on the outside, not on the inside, vice versa, is because you want the blade to run real smooth on the inside of the holder. So if you had those nubs there and you didn't trim them off properly, it'd be problematic. Let's separate the parts into the top and bottom section for assembly. Put the basal platen down. See, it's got this cutout here on the bottom, so that you can get it right in tight to the blade when you just want a tiny bit of pokey outiness. Thin part. Titanium. Then we go tick part. Then we go outer detent lock. Single 0 Phillips. It's a star. Okay, first one's the hardest one. Don't tighten it all the way up. We put a little hair around it. Now it just slid right in there. Okay, to make it easy for assembly, we're going to add a step here. Just get rid of that whole sort and fly shit from Pepper with the boxing gloves on. No point in gelding Lily. We're going to put some fasteners, 2 fasteners, in from the back side. What that will allow us to do is those will act as alignment pins. And Bob's your auntie. Huh? Oh, yeah. Well, these are teeny tiny screws, so you don't want to strip them. What you do is you just put them in kind of finger tight, all of them, and then you tighten them up all at the once. Pretty much assembly 101, but, if you don't know, you don't know. There you go. Now you know. Okay, same thing for the top. Now we need our retention pin. Put that one for safekeeping. And we go slim plate, retention pin, titanium spacer, thick plate, lock section. I just snug them fasteners up. They don't got to be singing tight. No Texas torque required. They're just itty bitty. And the blade retention pin here, there's a compliant mechanism built in. There's a spring there. So you got to push that down in order to get the blade in. Now we'll put the blade in, which you supply, whatever flavor you prefer. Now we'll put the blade in. I prefer the Olfa blades. Consistent, fantastic Skookumers Frig. And you never have to sharpen them. Now we'll put the bottom plunger in the bottom. Add wave spring in, and the wave spring sits in that plunger. Now you know it's far better to be tight than to be loose, especially the first time around. That's just science. Now this will slide in, but it won't slide out. And just to help yourself along, if you'd frame, you fuck, push down that plunger so it's not so tight. Now, what you may find with the cheap Chinesium blades is they don't fit as well as the good blades. This guide here is also very tight. It's harder to get it tight than loose, and I wanted it tight so that it doesn't wear out. The worst thing would be to offer this and have the lock not be completely solid, and then some poor fella gets hurt, cuts himself. So that lock now, nice and tight. Okay, so when you want to extend the blade, push down on the plunger. When you want to lock the blade, just make sure it's locked. It'll pop up and lock it. Now that is Skookumers Frig, and the blade will break. You're reefing on this, the blade will break before that lock ever gives out. Now if it's tight, you're finding it tight, what you can do is just deburr that a little bit more. I didn't really touch this with the sandpaper, and it's stiff, but it is brand new. Nice and girthy in the hand too. Oh, sorry, no, just about knocked you over. Yeah, oh yeah. Yep. And it just gets better with use. You'll see this thing in a couple years. Right fucking deadly, boys.